Happy 2022 everyone, and I hope you achieve everything that you want this year, and I hope we have another good year for gaming and for anime and stuff, for everything you like. And 2021 was a very good year for when it came to video games. Smash Bros came to an end this year. I know it's sad that this game is officially over, but we have the final DLC, Sora, and we had a lot of great games came out this year. And I would like to talk about some of my favorite games that I played this year. And what better game to start talking about than Tales of Arise? What can I say about Tales of Arise other than it's the most beautiful JRPG that came out this year? First off, this game is incredible by every meaning. The game not only looks great, but the combat, the music, the characters, everything about this is complete. The combat is kind of like a combination of Tales formula that we all know from previous game, combined with games like Devil May Cry per se. It's kind of like a hack and slashy kind of a style of gameplay, and I really liked it. Exploration, music, everything in this game was incredible. You know, the only reason I started the video talking about Tales of Arise was because that I just couldn't wait any longer talking about this game. Tales of Arise is amazing. Definitely one of the best JRPGs I've played this year, and definitely one of the best JRPGs I've ever played. Tales of Arise is the pick of the entire franchise. And while we're talking about Bandai Namco games, let's talk about Scarlet Nexus. It's sad that a lot of anime games have a reputation for being a rip-off game, but that's gladly not the case for Scarlet Nexus. The combat, the story, the animations, everything about this game is incredible, especially the music. I can't emphasize on how good the music was. And I really liked the story and the characters of this game. I played Yuito Sumeragi's story and I was amazed. This game took a lot of inspiration from Platinum games and they did it right. You know, Scarlet Nexus kinda reminded me of the old JRPG games like Dot Hack on PlayStation 2, and if you are familiar with those games, you know what I'm talking about. So, now enough talk about Tales and the Scarlet Nexus. Let's talk about Resident Evil 8. I played the PS4 version, and oh my god, I love this game. Ever since I saw the trailer for Resident Evil 8, I was in love with it. And although this game is not scary as the previous Resident Evil game, and it's heavily action-based, I really loved it because everything good about that Resident Evil grind was here. The puzzle, the action, the story, everything in this game was really good. So, next I want to talk about some indie games. And the first indie game that I like to talk about is Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Night. Now this game takes a lot of inspiration from Hollow Knight, but has its own identity. I really like the whole stand type characters in the game because the main character herself is very fragile and scared, but the stand kind of like character, they protect her and they fight for her. And the game had an incredible design. I really liked the level design, the whole style of this game, and the music for this game was just incredible. Totally recommend. The next indie game that I'd like to talk about is none other than Death's Door. This instantly became a fan favorite with everyone who played it. Death's Door was a very big surprise for me because first I was there like, oh, it's another top-down Souls-style kind of game. But then when I started playing the game, I was very pleasantly surprised by how good the game was. The combat was incredible, the story was really catchy, and the music in this game was incredible, but the boss fights was the thing that made me love this game. Now the next game is very special to me because I'm a huge fan of the company who makes this game, I'm a huge fan of the franchise itself, and the game that I want to talk about is Ys 9 Monstrum Nox, the latest game in the Ys franchise. And this game just combined the incredible combat that we knew from Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana, and put it in a sandbox open world style of thing where most of the game was mostly dungeons, but it was incredible. Fast-paced combat, incredible music, incredible dungeon design, and the whole monstrum aspect of things, giving adult different powers, made this game a worthwhile experience because I can now tackle the dungeons in multiple ways. The only thing that in this game is kinda bad is the graphics, but other than that, everything else about it is pretty good. Now, the game that I wasted the most amount of hours playing this year was none other than Monster Hunter Rise. I'm a huge fan of Monster Hunter. I put so many hours in Monster Hunter World. I played Monster Hunter so much back in the PSP and Nintendo 3DS days, and I loved Monster Hunter. Every Monster Hunter game is my favorite Monster Hunter game. But Rise in particular, this game just blew me away. It's amazing how by adding palumates and wirebugs, the game just evolved itself to another level. Monster Hunter World was incredible, and it's really impressive how Monster Hunter Rise managed to surpass that. Okay, so the next game was very big for me because I have been playing the entire franchise from beginning to end since 2017, and oh my god, I love this franchise. And the franchise that I'm talking about is Legend of Heroes and Trails series. So the latest game in the franchise, Trails of Cold Steel 4, actually came out last year. At least it was localized last year because the game has been out in Japan for a long time now. But it was localized last year, but it was only on PlayStation 4, and I could not find the time or the place to play it because I was so busy last year with a lot of my college stuff. But this year I finally got the time to play Trails of Cold Steel 4 when it came out on PC. And oh my god, this was a grand finale to the Trails saga. The Erebonian saga, everything about it was incredible in my opinion, and Trails of Cold Steel 4 implemented everything good from the previous games into the grand finale. You know what I really like about this game? Is how Reen grew up with the player. He's now more mature, more devoted, more serious than ever. And I really like how this game took the narrative from the previous game and continued it in this incredible way, explaining the previous games but also giving a new identity. Once again, combat and music in this game is incredible. Okay, now there were a lot of games that you could say that that's your game of the year, and let me just mention some games that I really liked but I couldn't either finish or play them. The first game that I want to mention is Kena Bridge of Spirit. That game was really fun and really good. Unfortunately, I did not finish that game. I couldn't finish it. The next game that I want to talk about is Shin Megami Tensei 5. I was really looking forward to this game, but as you know, it's a very long JRPG. It's a huge JRPG, and I couldn't put the needed amount of hours in it because I was busy with my final exams for my college. But I really like that game too. The next game that I want to mention is Atelier Ryza 2. I don't know if that game came out this year or last year. I'm not sure. But Atelier Ryza 2 is a very great game. It's a very good game. The next game that I want to have an honorable mention for is Blue Reflection. I've heard so many good things about this JRPG in particular, but it was not my style, so I did not play it. I will eventually give it a chance, but not right now. So, now it is time to talk about my game of the year. The game that really blew me away, and I was really looking forward to this game. It was my most anticipated game ever since it was announced. They announced this game, I'm there like, yes, give me this game right now. I want to play it right now, right at this moment. And the game that I'm talking about is, of course, Metroid Dread. This game was a masterpiece in my opinion. So yeah, the biggest surprise of the E3, the most anticipated game of the year, and my favorite game of the year is Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread was incredible to say the least. It was fast-paced, it was beautiful, and it was as scary as hell sometimes. I really loved this game. So far, Super Metroid was my favorite Metroid game of all time, but now I believe this game kind of surpassed it. The brilliant, the most fantastic, fluid gameplay I've ever seen in a video game. I like how in command Samus Aran was. You actually can feel that Samus Aran completely like takes command from you. Everything you say, Samus will go do that exact same thing that you want. And with all of this, there is no surprise why Metroid Dread was the game of the year for so many people. And thankfully, this game did really well. So in the future, we will get more Metroid stuff, hopefully. And yeah, Metroid Dread is just a masterpiece. So, anyways, I hope you have a good 2022. I hope 2021 was kind to you. And yeah, thank you for watching. Take care.